Hey YouTube, it's Rebecca here with another bullet journal video. I have been bullet journaling since late June of 2016, and I moved into my first bullet journal, my Moleskine, at the beginning of July of 2016. As I'm filming this, it's early August 2017, which means that I have been bullet journaling for over a year now. So I wanted to share with you some things that I have learned over the last year about how I bullet journal and some tips and tricks and other things that I've picked up along the way, just sort of advice for people who might be new to it. So I've got some notes in here, so I'm going to be reading out of my bullet journal. So the first thing is to write it down right away, and I'm still working on this. Every day I think of things like, oh, I need to put that on my to-do list. I think of things while I'm driving, and I think of things while I'm in bed. I think of things when I'm at church all the time, and they don't get written down. I completely forget about them. I don't know how many things that would have been really great ideas just never happened because I forgot to write them down. So if at all possible, write it down as soon as you can. If you are driving, a trick that I use to remember to write something down, because there's this psychological thing about doorways apparently that you do forget things when you walk through doorways. But I will think of the thing, say I have to write down, remember to buy shampoo on my to-do list. So I will picture myself walking through the doorway I know I'm going to, and then picture myself remembering as I walk through the doorway, and sometimes that helps me to actually remember. So that's just a tip for you, but write things down right away if at all possible. The next thing I really learned is just that you can do all of the Instagram and Pinterest searching and all of the inspiration stuff as much as you want, and you can try as many different things as you want. Eventually you will find a style that is you, and you won't be copying people all the time. You'll be inspired by people, but you'll be able to make your own style out of that inspiration. Sometimes it's easy to get impatient when you're early on trying to figure out what you like to do and how you like to decorate things or how you like to organize your pages, practically speaking. Eventually you will get there though. I'm just telling you, even a year in, I'm already starting to get to that point where I have a feel for what I like to do and how I like it to look. That being said, my next tip is just to switch things up frequently, both with your decoration style and with your structural organization. If you do a weekly spread, feel very free to change up that weekly spread from week to week. Maybe one week you decide you need just a massive task list that's really detailed, and the next week you decide it's really all just about the events. And you need a different spread for each of those. And that's the great thing about bullet journaling, is that you don't have to be stuck to one format every week. So you really should feel free to experience that freedom that bullet journaling gives you, and to experiment with all the different spreads that you can think of. And with that being said, I really recommend not setting up too many pages too far in advance. I know I fall into this trap a lot where you get really excited about your ideas for upcoming things. I really enjoy having a page per day, and so sometimes I'll set up a whole week of pages in advance. But even that amount of time, a week, it you're excited when you first draw out the page, but by the time you get there, either it doesn't fit what you need practically, or you don't like the way that you decorated it. And so I really just recommend going a day at a time, especially when you're first starting out and you don't know what you like yet. Definitely, I would not recommend drawing out a whole week's or a whole month's worth of weekly pages at the beginning. That works for some people. I'm not gonna, tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but I would really recommend taking it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and figuring out what you need when you get there, because sometimes you can't anticipate what you're gonna need. My next tip is about colors. I really don't use a lot of different colors. Some people do color code, and sometimes some people find that that is what they really need, and what works for them is using multiple colors and a very rainbow spread. I personally like to limit my reliance on multiple colors, because if you need to write something down in red in order for it to work, but you don't have your red pen on you, or you need a whole rainbow of colors for your spread because maybe your habit tracker is all these different rainbow colors and it's beautiful, but it can be difficult to tote all that stuff around or to have to keep switching pens. It just takes extra time capping and uncapping and can be really frustrating. It can make you sometimes not want to go and do the follow-up like tracker filling and stuff if you can't just use the pen you already have in your hand. So what I do with my monthlies is I pick one color, and so then I have like a color theme. I have my normal pen for all the writing stuff, and then I have a decorative highlighter and a decorative Stabilo. And that's it. Like I carry a pencil and like a ruler around with me, and that's pretty much all I have in my pencil case. And then I have other things that I fill in only at home, my colorful trackers that I only fill in when I'm at home. So if you can kind of figure out your system to where you can make spreads that only use colors, only make spreads that use colors that you can do when you're at home instead of having to tote around every pen you own, because we all know that can get hefty. This one isn't something that I learned from personal experience, it's just kind of a philosophy of mine. People always are talking about their key page and how that's part of the original system. If you look at that, it's really not, I don't think. The original writer system does not have him drawing out a key for his own use. I think he's only drawing out the key for our edification and purposes. But my philosophy is if you need to write your key in the front page of your journal in order to remember it, it's too complicated for you to use. You know, if you have a different icon for every different kind of thing, like, again, maybe that works for some people, but I personally think if you have more than 3 or 4 different symbols and you can't remember what those are without flipping to the front of your journal, you're not going to be able to use that effectively. It's not going to be a tool for you. It's going to be another thing that you have to keep up on, and it's going to be ruling you instead of the other way around. This next tip is one that is difficult for everybody, but it's something that gets easier with time. Don't compare yourself to others. You can get all the inspiration you want off Instagram and Pinterest, and there's some beautiful stuff out there, and you can use that to inform what you want as your own personal style. But the moment you go, oh, I wish I had her handwriting instead of my own handwriting, then you're not working with your own skills and your own abilities, and really just focus on your own journal and try not to, let other people and what they have that you think that you don't affect you or make you feel bad about yourself, because it's all just about the productivity. I also recommend not stressing out about having a uniform style. I feel this way sometimes. I like having everything uniform, sort of all the headers to be the same, or all of, to use only print in 1 month or to use only cursive. But really it doesn't matter. These are just silly things. So I would say, like, if you don't like the style on this day, just turn the page, do something else, and don't worry about it. Because really what matters is what you're getting done and how you're, keeping track of your life. So don't worry too much about your style being like a brand. It's not, it's just your bullet journal. My next tip might not be a problem with some people, but it kind of is with me. Don't be too precious with your pages. I sometimes find myself going, oh, well, I could make a collection of that idea, but do I really want to use the page for that? Like, I could use that page for so many other things, and I have a limited number of pages. Moving into a traveler's notebook helped me with this a lot, because I just know that once I fill up my collections insert, I can just move on to another one, and I don't have to worry about, running out of pages because of that. But really, I just recommend you're going to get more done if you make the collection. And if you don't use the collection, then you won't have to migrate it into your next insert or your next notebook. But really, just like, if in doubt about whether you should make a collection, just go ahead, because it's not going to hurt you to have that page. Even if you don't use it, it's something that you tried, and maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll be the next greatest thing that helps you become a more productive person and helps you, become who you want to be. So give it a shot, And then my last tip is just to ignore all the advice I'm giving you. If it doesn't work for you, don't let anyone else tell you the right or wrong way to bullet journal. Don't let anyone give you the impression that you need to be habit tracking or that you need to be drinking 8 cups of water a day. Come on, guys, that's not scientific. Anyway, that's a separate pet peeve. But really just Ignore any advice, including from me, that you don't find useful. If you find something inspiring, then great. And if you don't, you do you. Be your own bullet journalist. So those are just my thoughts after 1 year of bullet journaling. This has been just an incredible productivity tool for me. I've never been like a regular planner user until this year, and having Writer's System has been amazing. So thank you so much, Writer Carol, for everything that you gave us as the community. And I hope that I will be, continuing to do this for years to come. I can see myself being a bullet journaler for as long as I can, hold a pen. So I will be continuing to post videos about my bullet journal every Thursday, and I've been posting about 3 videos a week, so go ahead and subscribe if you are interested in anything that I have, and I hope to see you guys in my next video on Saturday.